Season 1 of 2023 is here on iRacing, and there's a lot, as you can see. Starting off, there's 3 cars, they got some tracks, then a lot of other things being added, tinkered with, so we're going to get through it. Sit back, relax, there's a lot to go over. This might be the longest highlights list I've ever seen for one of these. So starting off with the simulation active reset. This is pretty cool. Something I've been wanting in like every video game almost forever, at least every kind of sim game. Active reset allows the driver in a solo offline session to set a single save point for their car state with a key press. Then the driver can create an endpoint, which loads the save point with another key press. So when a save point is loaded, the simulator restores the saved car state into the session. This includes all possible parameters for the car, such as fuel amount, speed, RPM, precise car position and wheel rotation, tire wear, damage states, hybrid system values, etc. However, the world state is not reloaded, so time continues normally despite reloading a previous car state. All world parameters other than the dynamic track state remain as they are, such as track temp, weather, and air temperature, and telemetry continues on the normal linear path. Active reset works to automatically blend your current control inputs with those of the save start point to create a smooth transition experience. Additionally, when run is triggered, a new custom sector is created between the save start point and the endpoint created on the track. White checkerboard pattern lines are placed across the track at the start and end of the custom sector. For active reset, the delta bar reflects your performance through the custom sector. It is auto-enabled and selected along with a new delta box when a new custom sector is set for the first time. The custom sector delta box in the UI can be cycled through, like the all-time, session best, etc. The functionality for custom sector is similar, with current, last, and best attempts listed. Active reset does not have any default key controls bound. So if you wish to override the default custom sector start and endpoints that are set automatically when active reset is used, you can use the custom sector mark start endpoint controls available in the options menu. So you can set 3 important points on the track: active reset start point, custom sector start point, and custom sector end point. Using the 4th control, active reset run, allows you to go back to the beginning of these 3 points and practice again. Alright, and then holding down the active reset run control will apply the saved start point, but then pause the simulator until you release it, allowing you to adjust your control inputs if desired. Whenever a save point is loaded with active reset run, the current lap attempt data is invalidated. The active reset save is cleared if the user enters the garage. The custom sector checkpoint lines are not visible in replays, and only the next checkpoint you will cross is visible at any time. Custom sector checkpoint lines are only visible if custom sector best mode is selected. There's a 1.5 second cooldown period between the save and run actions, and there's a 4 meter minimum custom sector length. By default, the custom sector start point is set 2 meters in front of the active reset start point. This can be ideal for practicing launches, as your attempt will not be timed until you launch. That's pretty cool. Definitely see a lot of people using that. Physics behavior related to wall riding has been improved. Dragging along a wall at various speeds and for various durations with all types of cars should more realistically penalize the driver. For the tire model, fixed a couple of bugs with saving and restoring tire states across certain session transitions, getting in and out of car transitions, as well as during team events when a driver change is made without also changing tires. These bugs could cause more tire degradation and or cause an incorrect change to the tire conditioning state. Alright, for tracks, for start zones, I won't list them all. I won't read them all out, but here's a list. So all these tracks now have start zones added. It's good to see. Got them on some legacy tracks and stuff too. On top of that, they've expanded grid stalls to 60 for these following tracks here. So I'm not going to read them all out, but you can see a lot of tracks can hold up to 60 cars now. Alright, track surface model. A new dynamic track surface parameter system is now enabled, track polish. Track polish is the process by which an asphalt track's surface is slowly polished by the tires running over its surface, smoothing the aggregate asphalt. This happens most often along the racing line where many thousands of tires pass by. Depending upon tire conditioning and weather conditions, this can affect racing. Alright, track polish has been implemented in such a way to affect racing as follows. When racing on or near the racing line, grip should be roughly the same as it has been. However, as you move away from the optimal racing line, grip will gradually reduce in dry conditions. Track polish does not include other factors, such as track age or rubber depositing on the track surface. Track polish is independent of other track surface properties. Track polish is only enabled for road courses at the present. I wonder if that's something they've made to tie in with the rain that's coming soon. Soft surface model. The physics properties for soft surfaces and how tires interact with them have been updated. All types of off-track soft surfaces now behave with more realism. Grass, dirt, gravel, and sand are all softer and allow tires to sink into the surface slightly. These surfaces are all more naturally bumpy than their previous versions. Rallycross and dirt oval and dirt road racing surfaces remain unaffected by these changes as they already have track surface properties. For the pit stop, fixed an issue where team members, spotters, and spectators were not always seeing the pit speed limit in the interface. For hybrid systems, the logic for hybrid system deployment has been adjusted to improve performance when the player is on the throttle earlier than expected. For team racing, fixed an issue where an extra set of tires could sometimes be consumed during a driver swap if the driver teammate connected after the race had already started and they took over the driving duties when the team had only consumed a single set of tires so far. Alright, for AI, again, I'm not going to read all these out, but here's a list. So AI drivers are now in these following vehicles, including the new BMW, which we'll get to, and the new Toyota, but it's on the Lotus 79 and in the 87 Cup car, so that's cool. And then they've also added AI drivers to these following tracks. A ton of tracks now have AI. And, alright, some adjustments for AI. All these funny names I like. Big Book of Optimal Racing Lines. Number crunching, engine revving, wheels spinning. The 7 Kung Fu styles of defensive driving. Uh-oh. Alright, and okay, a few cars have had AI, improvements. And same with some tracks. So some tracks and cars that already have AI, I guess they should be a little bit better. And fix some errors found in our AI system code, including AI drivers now utilize the correct stall for lone qualifying sessions. AI drivers using vehicles with the old damage model were not always getting contact incidents correctly. And for the new damage model, friction energy calculations and parameters have been updated. The algorithms for preventing mesh snagging for dirt tires on uneven ground surfaces has been updated. Updated how energy is used by the particles and effects systems so they are more consistent. Fixed an issue where some cars were incorrectly entering the world with failing setups. Fixed an issue where some collisions were generating far more energy than they should have. And fixed the occurrence of some erratic values for suspension and spring forces. For graphics, for the speed tree system, added self-shadowing and upgraded to the latest version. Fix an issue where some fence textures could be rendered opaque when using certain shader settings. Fix an issue where brake glow was carried over from previous sessions. And fix some graphics options tooltips. For visual effects, lighting for particle effects has been updated, and the popcorn effects system version has been updated. Alright, custom paint schemes. A new vehicle texture layer has been added to all vehicles, which simulates an acrylic clear coat for all custom paint schemes. This new texture layer allows you to put a clear shell over the existing paint scheme of the car with its own specular qualities separate from the underlying material. This is meant to replicate automotive paint jobs, where the underlying car paint is overlaid with an acrylic clear coat. So to implement this on your custom paint schemes, adjust a blue channel on your existing spec maps. And so apparently that channel was just unused before. This works in a very similar way to the green roughness channel that you may use currently to determine how shiny or dull the pixel will be. The shininess is determined by the color value of the pixel in the channel across a spectrum of intensity. And there they have listed out the color values. And for existing custom paint schemes, the value for this channel was 255 RGB, providing you with a fully shiny acrylic clear coat. To keep the pre-2023 Season 1 look for your custom paint schemes, you will need to set this channel to have a 0 RGB value. All right, and then all of the templates have been updated. Audio. Harmonics have been added to the LFE effects to make them easier to feel on certain smaller shakers. Some crash sounds for some new damage model impacts and events have been improved. Fixed an issue that could have caused LFE and True Force effects to accidentally play when outside of the car in rare instances. Spotter. Ari Sejas, hope I have pronounced that right, has been updated. His spotter pack is updated. For controls, on the F9 black box, the key repeat up-down spin controls have been updated to match the rest of the black boxes. Now, pressing and holding down one of the buttons with your mouse will cause the value to increment continuously rather than needing to repeatedly click the mouse. Thank you, iRacing. Thank you. This does not change the behavior of the black box's increment selected control button mapping. That will continue to rely on keyboard key repeat behavior. The upshot is that if you map those to a button on a joystick, you won't get any key repeat behavior in any black box. Fix a bug that could show the wrong input on the option screen when switching from a joystick to mouse input on the steering or throttle controls. This did not affect the car when driving. Force feedback. Some adjustments have been made to help make the sim more safe. The bump stops are now limited to a minimum of 10 degrees, up from 0.5 degrees. The ability to turn off the force limiter that suppresses signals in a crash has been removed. Customers with inverted FFB signals have been reset, and the ability to invert the FFB signal via the app INI file has been removed. A warning dialog will appear if a user had their FFB signal inverted prior to this update. If you receive the warning, it is important that you contact customer support immediately so we can work out why it was set. Users that had the set will be unable to use the simulator until this is fixed, as their wheel could spin out of control the next time you enter the car. A limiter and damper to the FFB signal has been added that activates when it detects the wheel is spinning out of control. When activated, a pink bar will appear at the top end of the F meter with its length, indicating the percentage of cut and damping being applied to the signal. You can also monitor this by watching the telemetry or steering wheel limiter. The safety feature will not activate during normal driving. A new low-pass smoothing filter has been added for the force feedback signal. So by default, this is set up to remove unwanted high-frequency noise from the signal before downsampling and sending it off to the wheel. But by increasing the value, you can further smooth out the signal at the expense of a little added latency. Note that this cannot be used to stop your wheel from oscillating. In fact, the more smoothing you add, the more likely it is to oscillate. You can set the smoothing value to 0 to turn it off completely and return to the old behavior. Linear mode is now the default for the force feedback effects. Non-linear mode is useful for weaker wheels like the Logitech G29, but linear mode works better for stronger wheels. Some damping has been added to the end stops, so the wheel is less likely to bounce off of them. Also, no longer cut the end stop force when in a wreck. Alright, accessibility. The allowable range for audio sliders for drivers with a hearing disability may now be increased beyond the normal range. And if you need help to set them up, they say just contact their customer support. For the sporting code, race start behavior has been better defined, including information about abbreviated starts and rolling starts for start zones, ovals, and road courses. A new glossary entries have been added for start zone and supersession. For the UI, new series, stats, and standings. A new home has been created for series stats and standings in the iRacing UI. A brand new series stats page can be found in the results and stats section by clicking on the series stats and standings button on the sidebar. Here you can find all of the iRacing stats you have been accustomed to browsing through on the Classic member site. Alright, so 4 series cards are presented at the top of the page to provide users with quick access to their most recently run series. And below this, there is an overall list view of all series for deeper browsing, complete with search functionality. Clicking on a series opens the stats modal window for that series. You can browse all event types that exist for the selected series, including overall, season, time trial, and qualify. Filters are available for narrowing your search by week, club, and division. You can also view past season stats for the series. For general, the process for loading and processing dynamically generated 2D images in the UI has been updated. These images include car paints and helmets of all sizes and for all areas of the UI, including the paint shop, AI, racing, result, my content, etc. This does not include the full 3D models, only 2D images. Fixed an issue where the iRacing Formula IR04 and iRacing Super Speedway were being sorted to the bottom of lists due to their lowercase lettering. The systems used for favorites of all types has been updated and improved. Content. For content lists, fix an issue where content was not being sorted correctly by release date. This fixes the release dates for all content. For iRacing credits will now expire 24 months after they have been granted to an account. This policy has no effect on iRacing dollars, which never expire. iRacing credits can be used to make a large variety of purchases, and users can adjust their purchase settings so that iRacing credits are spent before other types of currency. And also, they should not ever expire. That is stupid. Filters. Whenever active filters are causing no data to be displayed, a message informing the user of this is shown, and a button is provided to clear the filters. This is a new and different behavior that if no actual data exists to be displayed, such as if no hosted sessions are running at all. By default, new iRacing users will have their official sessions filtered to only display races for which they are eligible to join. Series. A new tab has been added to the series modal window. Series stats. This tab provides you with the full set of the series stats and standings details for that series. A button has been added at the top right of the series modal window that links to the related iRacing forum for the series. The info and paint buttons are now readily available on the car card. Race guide. Fixed the bug that caused some race guide session boxes to appear too short relative to the session duration it was displaying. AI racing. When creating an AI opponent roster, fixed the error message that is displayed if illegal characters are used for the AI opponent roster's name. Legal characters include alphanumeric space dash underscore comma and period. Leagues removed a send PM toggle from leagues. Under the test drive, improved some title language for session settings. And then under the paint shop sponsor Engine Ice has been removed. On to the cars. So for GT3 cars, the new damage model is now enabled for these cars. Along with the tuning of car damage properties, strengths, and damage thresholds, any wheels with significant damage will also now be fully replaced during a pit stop. Standardized rub blocks have been added to all GT3 cars to ensure balanced interactions with racing surfaces and curbs. Tire parameters have been updated. These changes will allow cars to complete just one fuel stint on a set of tires at most tracks. A brake system update has standardized maximum input forces for all cars so that 100 kilograms is 100%. Brake pad friction levels for the 3-pad options have been shifted so that the old low friction pad is now the new medium. Car performance balance has been improved across the GT3 car class. Steering ratio adjustment ranges and the number of different clutch plates have been unified across the GT3 car class. Pit stop procedures have been updated to allow cars to take fuel and tires simultaneously instead of sequentially. Fuel burn no longer occurs when the engine is running, but the throttle is closed. This eliminates any fuel saving benefit of clutching or cycling the ignition in the car. Mass and power increases, along with aerodynamic model fine-tuning, will render most legacy setups obsolete. For GT4 cars, for the new damage model, fix an issue where accumulating damage was incorrectly increasing downforce instead of reducing it. Trying to see what's new. For the 87 Cup cars, again, if it's just like if AI has been added and the iRacing setups have been updated, we're not going to go over it. But for the 87 Cup cars, for the new damage model, durability of wheels and body panels has been reduced. For the next-gen Cup cars, they fixed an issue where the incorrect aero package appeared to be in use at Kansas. For the touring cars, for the new damage model, friction values for the splitter and chassis have been reduced to decrease the likelihood of snagging. For the new damage model, fixed an issue where accumulating damage was incorrectly increasing downforce instead of reducing it. For the ARCA car, fixed an issue where some drivers' backsides were showing through the back of their seats. How embarrassing. Who found that? Sounds like something I would find. For the Aston Martin GT4, interface images for this car have been updated. For the Audi 90 GTO, fixed an issue where backfires were not triggering correctly. For the Audi R18, the carbon fiber texture is no longer a color-changing part of the car paint patterns. Fix an issue with the dashboard fuel display for the opponent drivers using this car. Alright, first new thing, BMW M Hybrid V8. BMW's long-awaited return to the highest ranks of prototype racing comes in 2023, as the German manufacturer teams up with chassis partner Dallara and team partner Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing to bring the BMW M Hybrid V8 to the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Built to the new Universal LMDH GTP regulations, 2 M Hybrid V8s will compete in IMSA's premier GTP class, but countless more reproductions of the car are set to debut on iRacing before its first racing lap. With the addition of this vehicle, there's going to be changes to the IMSA and European Sprint Endurance Series. And there's like a whole other link for that. Okay. All right. As a result of this, some members will receive a refund in iRacing credits for their previous purchase of either or both the Audi R18 and Porsche 919. Some members who purchased both of the vehicles in the past 90 days will get a $10 refund. And if you purchased either or both between 91 days and a year ago, you'll get a $5 refund. And it has the new damage model and AI, of course. For the Caddy CTSV race car, fixed an issue where the steering wheel would conveniently be relocated to the roof of the car when the static display option was selected for it. Dashboard carbon fiber texture updated. For the Dallara IR01, for the new damage model, brake limits and yields for suspension and body panels have been reduced. For the Dallara IR18, rear spring adjustment range has been increased. Alright, the Dallara P217 now has the new damage model. It has the tire parameters, including wear rate, have been updated. Brake parameters, including cooling, are updated. Horsepower and weight have been updated to match current regulation values. Drafting benefits for trailing cars has been reduced. Pit stop procedures have been updated to allow cars to take fuel and tires simultaneously instead of sequentially. Full refuel time is 34 seconds. Fuel is shut off on the overrun, so you can't save fuel while engaging the clutch and brake zones. Fully broken nose and rear wing pieces will now result in a meatball flag to prevent cars from continuing in an unsafe condition. A lot of setups updated. Oh, they accidentally did this one in bold instead of a bullet point. Oh. For the Ferrari 488, for both 488s, the GT3, the new one, and the GTE, fix an issue with the dashboard fuel display for opponent drivers using this car. Alright, the Ford Mustang FR 500S. A bumper-to-bumper artwork update has been completed on this car. This overhaul includes new models, textures, lighting, shadowing, reflectivity, damage morphs, decals, pit box objects, and more. Wheels can also be custom color now. Fix an issue where the front ARB setting was not actually being adjusted based on user input. The selection should now be correct. For the Mazda, the Miata, a variety of vehicle parameters have been updated, including tire properties, differentials, dampers, brakes, roll bars, rear springs, and caster. Fix an issue with the dashboard fuel display for opponent drivers using this car. For the Hyundai Elantra TC, interface images for this car have been updated. For the iRacing Formula IR04, I think this was listed already, wasn't it? For the new damage model, brake limits and yields for suspension and body panels has been reduced. For the new damage model, fix an issue where accumulating damage was incorrectly increasing downforce instead of reducing it. For the Lamborghini Huracan, the roll bar camera now has a fixed position. Let's see. For the mercedes-amg GT3, the 2020, fixed an issue where the headlight its model was missing at certain distances. All right, new car, Mercedes-AMG W13. Oh man, fresh out of the 2022 World Drivers' Championship, the Mercedes W13 marks the second car built by the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team. That name's not super long or anything. To come to iRacing, shod in silver and a return to the German manufacturer's traditional racing colors. The car also represented a drastic change from its predecessor, the W12, due to major changes and regulations from the 2021 season. Its mostly striking visual changes include much smaller side pods than previous seasons, which are introduced in the pre-season testing and used throughout the year. And it has a new damage model. Talk about, man, the side pods in Mercedes look so bad. It is cool that we have a new Formula One car. Watch all the porpoising, though. What's next? The Porsche 919 interface images for this car are updated. Porsche Mission R, the driving line aid for this car, is now displayed as an average between the race and qualifying power modes. For the SCCA Spec Racer 4, vehicle parameters have been updated. Tire parameters updated. Differential spider gear friction has been added. Fixed an issue with the dashboard fuel display for opponent drivers using this car. For the new damage model, fixed an issue where accumulating damage was incorrectly increasing downforce instead of reducing it. For the skip barbers, for the new damage model, brake limits for wheels have been reduced. Under the street stock, fixed an issue where this vehicle would always appear with maximum scrape damage. Alright, another new car, the Toyota GR86. The official car of the all-new Toyota GR Cup, Toyota's all-new single-make road racing series, the Toyota GR86 serves as an approachable, sporty vehicle for drivers to hone their craft. Announced in 2022, each Toyota GT86 starts as a fully production vehicle before heading to North Carolina, where Toyota Gazoo Racing North America engineers transform it into racing machines capable of taking on some of America's premier road courses. And not only is it here, but it's free, y'all, so everyone has it. And for the Legacy Ferrari 488, fix an issue with the dashboard fuel display for opponent drivers using this car. Last but not least, all the tracks. I think we can get through these pretty quick. We'll speed run it any percent. Atlanta, for the oval, the 08 oval, the number of grid stalls has been expanded to 60. For the Legends Oval 2008, AI Racing is added. Rallycross along a variety of fixes, including fixed signage that had sunk into the terrain around the pit area, provided a body to a fence spirit, fixed various track surface seams, and fixed an issue where cars could ghost through each other in the hairpin corner. Interlagos for the Moto layout has AI, Auto Club, 60 cars now. For Barber, for short A, now has AI. Brands Hatch Indy layout, AI. Bristol, dual pit roads and single pit road. You can now have 60 cars. The Bull Ring start zone has been added and enabled. For Charlotte, Legacy has AI. Chicagoland now has 60 cars. And a new track, magny-cours. Let's go. Built in 1960 and originally the host of the famous Winfield Racing School, Circuit de Nevers magny-cours has been a constant presence on various national and international open-wheel and GT calendars for decades. Global motorsport fans know magny-cours best for hosting the French Grand Prix for nearly 2 decades, from 91 to 2008, where Michael Schumacher became the first ever driver to win a single Grand Prix 8 times at the same circuit in 2006. And it has AI. Concord, start zone added. Darlington, you can have 60 people. Daytona 08, you can have 60 people. Alright, Daytona Rallycross and Dirt Road. The 2 new configurations. These configs match the Rallycross config versions of similar name, but have the Joker Lap section removed and disabled for pure dirt road racing action. And it's been renamed. For Donington Park, for the national layout, AI Racing. For Dover, 60 people, 5 flags, now has a start zone. Hickory has a start zone. For Homestead on the oval, 60 people now. For iRacing Super Speedway, start zone. For Iowa, for the oval, 60 people. And for the infield legends, you can now have AI. For Irwindale, the outer layout, the start zone is added. Kansas, you can have 60 people. For Knock Hill, on the Rallycross version, fix an issue where stop and go penalties were being awarded instead of post-race time penalties for jumping the start. For Langley Speedway, you got a start zone. For Lanier, the asphalt version, you guessed it, start zone. For Las Vegas on the oval, you can now have 60 people. And for the Legends Oval, you can now have AI. For Lime Rock, collision has been added to a few environment objects. All right, Lincoln Speedway, Abbottstown, Pennsylvania's. I got just looking at the word Abbottstown. That word looks like it's messed up. Anyway, Abbottstown, Pennsylvania's Lincoln Speedway claims to be where the action is the attraction. I thought that was my toilet. And decades of exciting feature events help it live up to that profile. Frequented by many of the best 410 sprint car drivers in the U.S., the 3/8 mile high-banked clay oval has been in operation for 6 decades, hosting high-caliber weekly shows and multiple annual visits from the world of outlaws alike. Lincoln's first season took place in 1953, with Walt Reagan taking home the inaugural track championship. All right, for Lucas Oil, for the oval, you got yourself a start zone, and you can have 60 people. For Martinsville, 60 people. Michigan, 60 people. Oh yeah. For Milwaukee Mile, we got a start zone. Usher Slevin, the camera jib animations have been updated. For Mount Washington, fix the rendering issue. I forgot about Mount Washington. Fix the rendering issue with the dirt track surface here, and improve the final level of detail draw distances for the mountainside trees. For Nashville Fairgrounds, start zone. For New Hampshire, you can have 60 people. New Smyrna, you got a start zone. North Wilkesboro, there's a start zone, baby, and 60 people. For the Nürburgring Nordschleife, for the, I can't pronounce it. I took a semester of German. Industria Fahrten. That's probably not it. I didn't really try, though. AI, anyway, you got AI racing. That's the important part. For Alton Park, updated the reflectivity of some environment textures. For Oxford Plains, got a start zone. For Richmond Raceway, 60 people. For Road America, for the Bend layout, AI racing is available. Some asphalt textures near the kink have been improved. For Road Atlanta, fence textures have been updated. For Rockingham, you got a start zone and 60 people. For Rudskogen Motor Center, fix an issue that was causing a rendering slowdown on the front straight. All right, Sebring, a full artwork overhaul, including new surface bump maps, models, textures, and terrain, has been completed at this track. Laid out on the runways of a World War II airbase and the adjacent roadways, Sebring is the oldest permanent road racing circuit in the United States. It hosted its first race on New Year's Eve, 1950, a 6-hour handicap event won by a diminutive Crosley Hotshot 2-seat roadster. The first 12-hour Grand Prix of Endurance was held 2 years later, and for several years, Sebring was the site of America's only real international races. In 1959, Sebring was the site of the first United States Grand Prix before the event found a permanent home at Watkins Glen. For nearly 60 years, the world's top racers have competed for victory at the storied track nestled in Central Florida's Orange Groves. And I've seen some screenshots, and looks great. Sebring's great, so I look forward to checking that out. For Silverstone, for Grand Prix and I don't know what word I was about to say, but it was not international, like I was trying to say. Fix some issues with incorrectly cited track lengths. For Snetterton, for the 200 and 300 layout, and you got AI. For Sonoma, it looks like all of them. You got like everything listed. You have AI. And starting grids on other IndyCar configs were updated to match the IRL config. For South Boston, the start zone is added. For Stafford, for the full course, the start zone is added. For Talladega, the number of grid stalls has been set to 60. For Texas, the oval version, you can have 60 cars. And for the oval and Legends oval, you can have AI. For Thompson, you got a start zone. For Twin Ring Motegi, both oval versions, you have a start zone and 60 people. And both, I meant to say both ovals is in both of these notes. Not that there's two Motegi ovals. There's only the one. For USA International, for the asphalt version, start zone has been added. All right, VIR. So this is an early announcement about the upcoming release of a brand new version of VIR. So it's not here yet, but it'll be here before the end of the year, they say. The version will be entirely brand new with 2022 laser scan data and will be fully rebuilt with new artwork to bring this track into the modern age. This track will include 5 configurations: full course, grand course, north course, south course, and patriot course. The new track will be included, so it'll be free. And the existing version of VIR has been added to the base content for iRacing, meaning it has been granted to iRacing members for free. So if you purchased it within the past 90 days, you'll get $15 back. And if you purchased it anywhere between 91 days and a year ago, you'll get $5 back. When the new 2022 laser scan version comes out, the original version will be retired and no longer be used. All right, so I gotta keep that. I don't think I have any replays I need to go through, but we'll look. This is one of those real quick. This is a long video. I'm sorry. Nobody's probably listening anymore. Anyway, I'm all for tracks being updated except for VIR. It's the only one I wish that they would have just left. It does look a little rough in the game, like it's gotten on in age, but I love the oak tree. And the new one, it's just not going to have the oak tree. It's not the same. It was nice to have a version like online that we could race at that still had the oak tree. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but I like the oak tree, okay, and I miss it. For Volusia, fixed an issue where areas outside the track walls were incorrectly accumulating thrown dirt, which was improperly influencing the dynamic dirt surface inside the track walls. For Wild West Motorsports Park, this track is now included as part of the base content for iRacing, which means it is free. And again, if you purchased it, you can tell it's getting a long video. I'm starting to not be able to talk. But anyway, if you got it within the last 90 days, you'll get a full refund, so $12. And again, if you got it between 91 days and a year ago, you'll get a $5 refund. For Williams Grove, crowds have been updated. For Gateway, for the Oval, the number of grid stalls expanded to 60. Legacy Charlotte, for the Legends Oval, you got AI. For Legacy Kentucky, for the Oval, you got the start zone and 60 cars. And for the Legends Oval, you can have AI. For Legacy Michigan, start zone is added. For Legacy Phoenix, a new track configuration, dirt road. This configuration matches the Rallycross version, but has the Joker Lap section removed and disabled for pure dirt road racing action. Also, you have a start zone and 60 people can race. For Legacy Pocono, start zones added. For Legacy Texas, for the Oval, start zone added, and you can have 60 people. And for the Legends Oval, you can now have AI racing. So there we go. A lot going on. Yeah, a new F1 car. I definitely want to check that out. But yeah, there we go. So a lot of features. The instant reset thing on road courses is also really nice. That's like a quality of life thing that I'm sure is going to be used by a lot of people. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for joining in. There's all your patch notes. Bye.